Hey, Greg. Good to see you, man.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's been good so far, right?
Been great so far. Amazing.
Yeah. How did you maintain that high-level motor and motivation that you showed on the defensive end of the football?
Well, if you want to keep your job, you kind of that's the starting point. But the desire to be the best. That's something that drove me my entire career. I would tell people that, it's okay if I'm not the best, but I always wanted to be amongst the best. And that kept me going for most of my career.
Your experience at North Carolina playing football led to your first-round draft pick to play in the NFL. What were your NFL days like, or your Carolina days? Like, how did it prepare you?
Wow, so I had some amazing coaches at Carolina, and I appreciate them. They're actually here. They surprised me by coming here. I didn't know they were going to be here. Even my junior varsity basketball coach, Coach Phil Ford, is here as well. So I appreciate.
Did you say Hall of Famer Phil Ford?
Hall of Famer
Phil Ford.
Coach? He was my junior varsity basketball coach at Carolina. Yeah, exactly. And so those guys, taught me, they grew me from a boy to a man. And that's what college is really all about, transforming from, the childhood to a man. And I was blessed and fortunate to have some amazing coaches to help me transition to that and to understand the importance of what it took to be a professional athlete. And so, yes, a lot of it started and came from my college coaches.
Sounds like you had some really good influences and role models.
Yeah, amazing ones.
When you're dropping Phil Ford up here, you definitely have a good one. Your adversity that you faced with your Achilles injury and that allowed you to come back and be comeback player of the year in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And I think I read 12 and a half sacks in 13 games. I mean,
yes.
Tell us about that. What was that adversity like, and where did the resolve come from to be able to come back better?
And I'm gonna go a little off script because I'm a Christian guy, and I think God orchestrates things for a reason. And as we're talking about the Achilles heel injury, it's very funny and painful because over the last 2 days my Achilles has started hurting. And so I think it's a lot to be learned from that, if you would. The hardship that it takes to be a successful athlete. The people ask me what was it like, and I've talked to some people even here, and they say, how does your body feel? And I think this current Achilles situation I'm dealing with right now, some of the pain I'm having, caused me to reflect on, the hardship that it takes to be a successful athlete, right? So all the athletes here, the price that you and we had to pay to be an accomplished athlete, it's a lot. It was a lot, but it was worth it, I think, in my opinion. The pain that I'm currently having right now in my Achilles, it was still worth it. If I had to do it all over again, I would do it all over again.
What did you learn from that experience? You said you learned a lot.
I learned a lot. Story behind that. So that happened probably my 7th or 8th year in the NFL, and we were playing Arizona. 7 to 8 years in the NFL. When you get 30, you're old, and they look to replace you. And so I remember they carted me off the field, and I'm sitting in the training room in Arizona, and the Dr. Dan Cooper came in, team doctor, and I'm laying on the table. He put his hands on my leg. He said, first words come out of his mouth. He said, "Greg, you had a great career." Oh. Right? It's okay, happy ending. It's okay. And I didn't get mad with him because I quickly understood what he meant, Well, for one thing I didn't understand. I was like, well, wait a minute, can we fix it? And he said, no, it's no problem to fix. But at your age, you're 30 years old, you play a big man position, and so you're probably not likely to return to the level that would allow you to continue a football career. And so that, was scary for me. But trusting God and being resilient, even when you don't really see a light at the end of the tunnel, And we as athletes, sometimes we have to create that light when you don't see it. We have to bust through that darkness. And it's not a comfortable place to be in, but sometimes in our life, and even outside of athletics, sometimes in your life, you have to be the hammer to bust through, to create that light. And so I learned that through this Achilles.
Well, you have been a remarkable role model. Congratulations on being in the Hall. Is there someone or a group of people you'd like to thank tonight?
Oh, wow. I would just thank the coaches who are here, who took the time to come and celebrate this with me. I'm an emotional sweater, and I deal with anxiety. But when I saw Coach Moody, he was the first coach I saw that came in. He was my recruiting coach, and it just took me by surprise. And I was like, I'm glad I got the sweat towel. And so many, I didn't expect Coach Ford to be here. So many, Donnie Thompson, didn't expect him to be. Coach Ken Browning, Ken Mack. So those are my Carolina coaches. I didn't expect them to be here. Mr. Swafford, he's out here. Just so many people, and I thank y'all for coming out for this milestone moment here in my life. But I'd be remorse. Obviously, I have to thank my parents, mom and dad. My mom and dad, they work hard. They were custodian workers. And I would say this to all the parents, grandparents out here, young parents especially. It doesn't take money to show the love to your kid. You may not have a lot of money. And now I feel the emotions about to kick in, but I'm going to push through this one story because I have to, because it was a learning moment from my father. And my father, again, he was a custodian worker, not a lot of education, but one of the biggest things my father instilled in me, and my mom will tell you that too, was whatever you wanted to do, you keep God first and you're willing to outwork people, it could happen for you. And that propelled me every inch, every second of my football career. And everything that I've been blessed to do and blessed to accomplish, that one thing propelled me to what some may say greatness or whatever you want to call it. But that propelled me through my life and still propels me to this day, was the fact that my dad said, hey, Greg, whatever you want to do, if you want to build this building, it can happen. Maybe a lot of hard work, but it can happen. And my mom told me, I was probably retired from playing football, and my mom told me, she said, Greg, you know what? When you was a kid, you believed everything that myself and your dad told you. And that was a good thing. It was a blessing, to be honest with you, because, again, the biggest thing that I believe was what my dad said. Whatever you want to do, it can happen for you. Keep God first and be willing to outwork people.
Greg, congratulations. Greatness in your foundation, in your skill set, and in your character.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Ellis.
Yep. Let me thank one more person.
Please.
One more person. And I'm going to ask him to stand up. Coach Earl Rose. Just stand up and wave, Coach. Stand up and wave, Coach. Thank you. Coach Rose has meant so much to me in the short time that I've known him. He actually submitted the information for me to go into the Hall of Fame. And so I just wanted to make sure that I did that. He's one of the outstanding guys that want to make sure sometimes the unsung heroes get their flowers while they're still here. So thank you, Coach Rose.
Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Ellis.